Coach, I got a couple. Let's start with how important is a game like this to kind of empty the bench out and kind of have a happy clubhouse and get some guys to play?
Well, certainly when you have opportunities like this to get some guys in the game, maybe get them going, maybe create some pinch hit opportunities, look at a different players, Peter Michon, obviously it was good to get Kevin Maluski back in there and some other guys, but the thing that I was impressed about our team today is we played the cleanest, best game that we've played this weekend. And, that wasn't because of the 26 runs. Our defensive intensity at 10 a.m. was really good. I thought Duke Stone was outstanding and our pitching was very, very good. And our offensive approach was the best that it has been this weekend. And so that's what I'm proud of is in every facet of the game, we showed up at 7:15 a.m. this morning, and the guys were locked in, ready to go and play the most complete game of the weekend.
It appeared Aiden was out there in pregame, but not fully dressed. Can we get an update on him and William Kirk?
Yeah, well, Aiden Teal today was the first time that he came to the stadium. He sat on the bench because he wanted to be there with his teammates. But I don't know when his return is. He's pretty sick. He's over it. He's not contagious, but lost a lot of weight and whatnot. So we'll have to see as the coming days come about on his availability. William Kirk, the first part of this week, will have ACL reconstructive surgery on his knee. He will miss the rest of the year. It is not his knee that he had reconstructed last year. It's the other knee. He actually caught his spike in the clay on the mound on his push-off in that start. And my heart breaks for the young man. Feel like he's got a very, very bright future, and this is another, big detour for him. So he won't be available for us for the remainder of the year. And when you see kids persevere through what they did last year and having the knee issue that he had last year, and then for it to happen again, but the other knee, my heart just breaks for somebody that pours everything into it and a freak accident happens. But his attitude is really good, and he'll come back and make a positive comeback. Robbie?
When you look at this game, and the offensive numbers are obviously going to be what stands out, but pitching-wise, y'all were good throughout. Everybody that came in there, and it's tough sometimes to do that in a game like this. But Duke sits for almost an hour and comes back out there and gets a 3-up, 3-down inning.
Yeah.
What did you assess from your pitchers today? I know you probably would like to get a little more work from some guys, but from what you saw from all those players.
Yeah, I mean, that's the downside of a 7-inning game, because there's even a couple more guys I would like to get out there, but that is what it is. And I thought Duke Stone, out of our 3 starters this weekend, commanded the ball the best, the fastball the best. Coach Parker and I talked, as much as you'd like to leave him out there and build somebody's pitch count, you also need to develop other guys. So I thought Duke was really outstanding. And an important stat to be successful in baseball is when your team scores, do you go out and throw a 0 up? And he did that every time out there, and some of those innings sitting for a while. So impressed by him and his mental toughness to do that. It was good to get Foster back out there. And I'll tell you, out of all of them, the guy that I was most impressed with was Dane Burns. He was throwing some 92s and 93s, and since I've been here at State, I haven't seen 92, 93 out of him. And I know him and Coach Parker have been working hard for a few weeks to get him where he needs to be. And I think today was a big step forward for Dane Burns.
Sam?
Drew Wires had a pretty spectacular weekend. Just what do you like about what he adds to the lineup and where his offense is right now?
Yeah, Drew Wires is a gutty, tough player that's been well-traveled in college baseball, and he knows who he is. I talk to the players a lot on an individual basis about their identity as a player, and that's important to know for them to be consistently successful. Is what is your identity? James Nunnally's identity is different from Jacob Parker, right? And you can't try to be somebody that you're not. God gave you a certain amount of gifts, and those are your skill set and your gifts. And Drew Wires knows who he is, and he's being rewarded for that, and our team is being rewarded for it. Will he be the leadoff hitter on Tuesday? I don't know yet, okay, but I just felt like that was the right move this weekend with having Aiden Teal out and Reed Stallman out in a lineup construction. And, Drew's showing that we've got some really great depth and some options.
Last question, Doug.
Coach, it won't be a game tomorrow, but it will mark the 50th anniversary of Coach Ron Polk's first game here in Mississippi State. So on that occasion, I just want to ask your thoughts on Coach Polk personally and what he means to the game of college baseball.
Well, I first, when you asked me about Coach Polk, the first thing I want to talk about is what he means to college baseball and has meant to college baseball. I can tell you, back at my parents' house back in Council Bluffs, Iowa, I've got College World Series game programs that are signed by Coach Polk and former Mississippi State teams. And as a coach, as a young coach, getting into this profession and then becoming a head coach at the age of 34, Coach Polk is somebody in this profession that I've always admired. It wasn't the wins that I've always admired. I mean, look what he has built here. And the standard and expectation of this place. That is because of Coach Polk and the young men that he recruited here and this community that loves this baseball program. And Coach Polk was the leader of all of that happening. Okay, and so I also too, any coach that's my age or older than I am would tell you there was no bigger advocate of pushing college baseball forward for 3 decades than Coach Polk, right? He would fight the NCAA if he could, okay, on all for the betterment of college baseball. And that tells you about somebody, that it's not ego driven, it's from his heart, that he really believes that the young men that wear these uniforms, what is the best opportunity for them. And the last thing I'm going to say is, you might say this is maybe a little bit over the top. I don't think so. I think Ron Polk has made a huge difference in this community in Starkville. Not just because of this baseball program, right? Through baseball, Ron Polk has brought this community together. And how many people really get the opportunity to do that? And he did it. And that's shown every time we throw the first pitch in this stadium. And the love and passion that the people have in this community for the baseball program. It's big part of the reason that I decided that it would be a dream to be the coach at Mississippi State. How can it not be for a coach, right? And I love having him around. Love having him in the dugout every day at practice, that he travels with us, because I know where his heart is, and his heart is with those young men that wear this uniform.